Reaperman here. Every so often, a game will fly under my radar and surprise me by being awesome. But today, I've got the game that somehow managed to evade my attention for the last 30 plus years. It's Bosconian by Namcot, or Namco. The game's not entirely sure about that, but spoiler alert, it's pretty awesome. I'd heard the name Bosconian many times before, but I regret to say that I never bothered actually looking up what it was. I was pretty sure it involved a Depression-era hobo clown or something to that effect. Instead, it's a free-roaming shoot 'em up, kind of like Time Pilot, or really, really close to a game I played a lot as a kid called Survivor by Synapse on Atari 800. So, since it's right up my alley, I assume that maybe if it had a standard name like Star Mazer or Space Crusher, I'd at least given it a go. But yeah, it didn't help that Bosconian also wasn't really on any of the systems that I spent big time with. But that's changing, and it really woke me up recently because here in 2018, or I guess late 2017. There are two new ports to Atari 800 and 2600. I've got some links down in the description. When I saw it, I was just hooked. So I set off to see what kind of Bosconian I could play on my standard setup right now, rather than hooking something new up. And this is where it gets a little convoluted. See, I'm playing the MSX version of Bosconian, fan converted to Sega Master System, and then playing on the NT Mini's FPGA core for Master System. So I have no idea if it plays right, and that kind of bugs me. Since I've never played the game on MSX or in the arcade, all I can really comment on is that it plays well and is awesomely fun. And before we get started, I really like seeing high scores in videos, so I have something to chase. So if anybody's thinking about attempting this kind of convoluted setup, here you go, up there. My high score, maybe drop a comment when you beat it. So to explain how this goes, the player is a little white ship in the center of the screen, and that screen scrolls over a pretty large playfield. The fire button is used to shoot both forward and rearward at the same time, and the game is divided into levels where the goal is to destroy a number of space stations. Locating and traveling to these stations is greatly aided by the large radar screen to the right, and yes, that screen does wrap, so feel free to go off the sides or the top. Getting in your way is space junk, and some variety of solo ships, and every so often a formation, which can appear in many forms, and that formation is also visible on the radar. Destroying the lead ship in the formation kind of disperses the formation, and fully destroying every ship in the formation generates a score bonus. One ship worth pointing out is the spy ship, which should be destroyed at all costs. It's yellow, and it appears on screen, and it'll immediately try and run away, and if it manages to do that, the player's craft will be attacked from all sides until it's killed or the level is successfully completed, and good luck with that. I managed to do it just to test out to see if it could be, but I was setting that up in very controlled circumstances where it was really, really close to done anyway. To destroy a station, destroy each of the 6 pods surrounding the central core, or simply hit the central core from the top or the bottom. The station's defenses include guns, which slowly attack in any direction, and shields, which appear later on in the game, which protect the core. It can also launch a variety of ships. Some of them move pretty fast and protect the core fairly well. So let's get some gameplay going here. Okay, first order of business here is to locate the 3 bases on the radar and start heading toward one of them. I'm going to head toward the one down here first, and when I line myself up, I noticed that if I move the square just a little off to the right, it's a lot easier for me to hit the center. Here comes a formation. That guy. Right, round 2. Almost to 10,000 points, which is when the first one-up happens. The first one-up happens at 10,000 points, the second one, 20,000 points later, and after that, 30,000 points later. So you get them at 10, 30, and 60,000 points. And etc., I suppose. So far we're doing alright. The third round is kind of neat. There's 2 rows of base stations and they're all lined up. So if you hit the center of one, of these and keep going up, you get them all. So it appears now the bases are a bit shielded. So they've got that green door that goes in front of their core. And on to level 4. I should be really close to getting another one up. There it is. Gonna head up this time. And I'll get that bottom one by going off the top of this screen up here. Really like the whole rolling playfield aspect of this game. It feels much, much newer than 1981. Oop. And now the cores have started shooting those fast-moving ships at me. So the formations are one reason I don't particularly like to hang around the edge of the screen. Hard to determine where they're going to be coming from. Now, from what I've seen of the Atari 2600 version, it tells you exactly what the shape of the formation coming is, which is handy information to have. I don't have that. Uh-oh. Spy ship. So if you haven't figured it out yet, I do highly recommend trying this game out. He's got me. He's got me. And I guess the easiest way to try that would be just any way that you have to play Master System games and then some kind of a flash card. That is to play the Master System conversion. So like an EverDrive for Master System or even one for Sega Genesis would probably do, and then you can play some 1981 8-bit goodness on the Sega Genesis. How cool is that? As mentioned before, I'm playing this on the Analog Interactive NT Mini. I probably would play it on Master System, except I've got the 32X kind of in there, and I like to keep it in there. It's seated well. Generally, when the 32X is in there reliably, I tend not to like to mess with it. Oh. It seems like some of the ship types in this particular game don't have much interest at all in you until they're in a formation. Oop. My ship. Alright, up to round 6. Oop. I'm shooting for the cores every time on these because generally speaking it's just easier to do it that way, although as the levels get more difficult it starts making more and more sense to go for the tanks or modules on the edge. I don't think I'm up to the point in this game skill-wise where it's ever really going to make sense for me to attack the edge. Ooh. Fast-moving formations are kind of annoying. Oh. Also seems like sometimes the swarm can be triggered by just running out of time. Just moving too slowly between the stations. Uh-oh. Ooh. Alright. I've actually got a chance to make my high score here. See how this works out. Ooh. Okay, got my 100,001 up there. Alright, this is taking actually quite a bit of my concentration. Ooh! Alright, let's get these. And that's a high score for me. So, in conclusion, I really, really recommend this game, and I think that you should play Bosconian any way you can. Down in the link section below here, I've got a couple of links to the new ports from Atari Age. I've also got links to the video that kind of introduced me to Bosconian. And if you can find any way, I know Commodore 64 fans, you guys have a port of it. MSX fans obviously have too. But yeah, if you've never given Bosconian a try, if maybe you were like me and you never bothered to look it up because it's kind of got an unusual name, then give it a shot.